Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker. This is WP Watercooler, episode number 342. Today's topic is putting your best theme forward. This particular episode of WP Watercooler is brought to you by ServerPress, makers of desktop server. Go over there and check them out over at serverpress.com. We would appreciate it, and they would appreciate it as well. So let's go around the room real quick, get everyone introduced. Say, how about you? Tell us about yourself.
What? I'm first?
I know,
That
right?
never happens. Hello, my name is Say Reed. I make WordPress, preach WordPress at Say Reed Media on all the things. I am a past organizer of WordCamp Long Beach, and I will be at WordCamp US next week. I look forward to seeing you there. Please discuss things with me. Have a nice day.
What the hell is this?
I don't know. I don't know. Changing it up.
It was like
Okay,
who
can do?
It was like Say's voicemail voice.
So it seems like we need to do Say's intro, but in our own intro. Steve, how about you next?
I don't even know what she did. I am Steve Zengin. I'm the founder of Zeek Interactive. I run the OC WordPress meetup. Yo.
Stop, homie.
Yo.
Various, how about you? Tell us about yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Various Smith. I'm the founder of Phil Veracity Design, founder of Inland Empire WordPress Meetup Group, and WordCamp Riverside. I'm a speaker organizer this year, but join us because it's happening November 8th through 10th. WordCamp Riverside.
The only reason to go to the Inland Empire.
Hey.
Hater!
Wow. I mean, I would say that, but I lived there.
I mean, it's true, but still, it hurts.
No, haterade.
Whittier is so not in the IE.
No, I grew up in Fontana.
Oh, well, that's
The
different.
IE.
I
I'm a
grew up in the
909er.
IE technically, but I don't count
A
that.
lot of
against
stuff
myself.
out here.
Cosper, how about you? Save us.
Hey everybody, Jason Cosper here, aka Fat Mullenweg, and I'm here to talk themes, musical fruit. So let's get cracking. Jason?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me over at Jason Tucker on Twitter. My website is jasontucker.blog, and you can go to my website. You go to my website, go check that out over there. And also, I do a show called WP Blab. Yesterday, Say, I hate to tell you this, but I stole your topic idea from for this show.
I saw that, and I was like, oh, not a good topic, huh, Jason?
Not a good topic, but yeah, it was a totally good topic. And so we did our own little spin on it, and it was preparing yourself for WordCamp. So all the things you should do before you actually go to a WordCamp. So feel free to go take a look at that.
That was a different angle than I was taking, though.
So angle. I'm good at it on other shows, just not on this one, okay?
Come on, after 342 episodes, you're just phoning it in. Let's be honest.
That's true.
We're
Oh,
just
man.
StreamYarding it in at this point. Like, we're only as good as our platform. It's been degrading slowly over the course of 342 episodes.
Oh, my goodness.
But we have a pretty background now. So
Yeah, we do have a pretty background. So let's talk a little bit about it. There was a topic that came up on WP Tavern, where they were discussing the kind of the redesign of the homepage, the featured page of the WordPress theme directory, and how that kind of works. And yeah.
What have we wrought? What themes we know? I just made that up.
So what they were discussing on that is that currently the way that thing's set up is
nightmare.
It's kind of, what it does is it shows you kind of the like a random selection of themes. And so if you go on there, you can see that here's the post on WP Tavern. And so they did a random selection of themes. So if you go on there and go take a look at it, you can see a random selection of themes like this. So it's, here's a couple different themes that are on here. You always see the 20 whatever teen over here. And then you see all of the others that show up here as well. But then you start finding themes like this that show up on here as a featured theme.
That looks, it looks so much like a fork of 2014, which
amazing
5 years ago, and also still ugly.
Steve, they didn't use Heisenberg for that one, right?
No.
Ugly man, ugly
I
man.
sure hope not. That one looked like, what was that other old
It's a
content
quality
management system?
theme. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
2014 Live Journal.
Yeah, I said it was LiveJournal, but it could have been very well been like Blogger or yeah, who knows?
I mean, look
Hey,
at the
look,
feature
okay.
images. I mean,
A mini calendar of your post archive is what everyone is looking for always. That's what everyone has always wanted the sidebar theme calendar to be, is a post archive. No one's ever wanted that to be something else.
So
I
bad.
really feel like the headphone girl
like
was
something like events. I mean, who thinks events are useful? You know,
It's silly. It's silly. No one uses events. What you want is to know what you said last Tuesday. That's important.
Yeah.
On August 74th, that's not a day. August 17th. On August 17th, here's what I posted or didn't post, and that's what you want to know. That's how people look through blogs.
Yeah, we actually only hit August 74th on leap years.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Anyway, the point is that WP Tavern article written by Justin Tadlock, new at WP Tavern, he was writing about how the theme team, which by the way is the best named team, the theme team, decided to. So can I just give a quick synopsis of the problems that they had?
Yeah, please.
So in the past, they tried to do these featured themes, and they made it because, you know, meritocracy. They made it so that if you did the people who did the most reviews, the contributors who did the most reviews could pick the featured themes. And so what theme shops were doing is basically just having people do a bunch of theme reviews in order to put their themes in the featured theme reviews. So it was just stacking their own theme features, basically. This is in the early 2010s.
Oh wow, this is bad.
Yeah, they haven't touched this since like 2014, I think.
wow.
So about the time that 2014 and that Jane theme came out. So basically they took that away because everyone was just gaming the system, you know, doing all the reviews, churning through a bunch of reviews and then choosing their own themes. And that article's really interesting because it actually cites some of the theme shops that were making like $100,000 a month or something crazy.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, you're in the wrong business, Various.
Right.
Why are we building our own themes? I don't know. We should just put stuff in the theme repo. Meh. I finally get it. Anyway, point is that they stopped doing that. And since then, like what Jason was saying, Tucker was saying, they were just putting random themes in there, which, much to everyone's detriment, shows you nothing of any worth whatsoever. And the argument currently that they were talking about there is basically it makes WordPress look real bad because if you onboard Squarespace, Shopify, whatever, they're putting their theme forward and they're like, look, here's these pretty themes. And everyone in the WordPress world is like, you know, oh, I got my new website. Wah, wah.
it looks like .NET Nuke.
Yeah, it does look like .NET Nuke.
So this change will be good in terms of they're basically trying to find a new way to curate themes to put without it being part of that kind of meritocracy land where people can submit themes based on certain types of categories that will allow them to be chosen for the curated featured theme instead of a random featured theme, which, by the way, totally improperly named because it's not
random featured.
No,
it is an oxymoron.
Well, they don't say random; they say featured, which implies some sort of like, you know, specialness other than random. Like those are really different, you know, different things. Random.
Here's a random selection.
Yeah. So that's the synopsis of what the WP Tavern article was talking about and what the theme team was talking about and what they're looking to implement. So, hallelujah. That's all I have to say about that.
A good synopsis.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So what are we expecting from this then? Like
more chaos.
Because I mean, just because of the fact that now we have a collection of people that are interested in making sure that the featured page looks good. Do we feel that there is going to look good? And I don't know. I've always had a love-hate relationship with themes in general because of the fact that a good theme means it doesn't have all the functionality built into the theme. But
Who's
a
on the
good theme
theme?
also means that the functionality's styling should be baked into the theme. Because what happens is if you have that separation between those two, like they need to test it on like the top 5 form plugins and make sure that the top 5 form plugins actually work. You need to do accessibility. There's like all sorts of things that you need to do to make sure that it's a good theme.
But your criteria for a good theme is different than somebody else's criteria for a good theme, right?
Right.
Right. You're looking at a good theme as something that is more compatible with the stuff that's out there, right? Or I think a good theme is well designed, but also slim, right?
Yeah.
So that it loads fast.
Like
it's like if you went to the store,
doesn't have a bunch of stuff in it.
Yeah.
The analogy I've used is when you go to like a place to go get your window fixed on your car, and you just said throw a window in there, and they go like just any window. We're like yeah, just any window, and so they end up getting you like a 1970s van window, and they shove it inside your brand new Lexus, and you're like, why does it look like this? You're like, it's fine, it's the same functionality, everything looks good. And you're like, no, it doesn't really look good.
You can see through it.
That's all the things it needs.
If it doesn't actually matter if you change that front page, because until we change the damn theme demo and we get rid of like the most basic
the boat.
I think the boat has actually been the boat has been the banner on my Facebook page for Say Read Media for a really long time.
That's a long game right there, Say.
It's a long game joke. It's a deep cut. But I think it might still be the boat. I don't know. I haven't looked in a while. But the truth of the matter is, as soon as you click off of the homepage, or actually, as soon as you click to the demo of any of those sites, they all just crumble into dust. And I don't know, like nothing ever looks like what the theme looks like on the front end. And especially like now that we're moving into the Gutenberg era.
Gutenberg.
The Gutenberg reign.
Now that we've been Gutenberg, like I think this is like, I feel so much right now. Like WordPress is like, we're doing these things and it's like that we should have done 5 years ago. But why are we doing them now? Like we're on an old backed up to-do list is what I feel like.
But this goes back to the developer
the user developer gap?
Yes, the user developer gap, right? Because this everything you're talking about has been driven by developers, right? Who aren't thinking about what the end user is going to experience. And unfortunately, I mean, I've done some more research or just had some more conversations since my talk at WordCamp Long Beach, right? And I've had a lot of people show me other content management systems that are out there, other alternatives, and they're killing it in comparison to what WordPress has done.
I'm telling you, we're like literally 5 years old and 5 years behind on what we're doing here. And like, I feel like everyone's like, we have this great idea. I'm not trying to bash any teams or anything like that. It's just
this has nothing to do with themes, right? It has to do with the whole onboarding process.
Right.
Well, don't even get me started about onboarding. We will talk about that for like 5 years. That's a whole other topic. But in terms of themes, which is really, and Justin Tadlock makes this argument in his article, is that themes are what the end user judge a website off of. Like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, everyone just calls it, web design. They don't even understand the concept of development or functionality. Like it doesn't even register, right? They're like, what does my site look like? And so that is how everyone is judging WordPress. And that's why people are immediately disappointed with WordPress every time. And from a I don't know what you would call me at this point, like a website builder perspective, like I'm so fed up with the theme repository that, I mean, I go in there, but like there's nothing in there. Like I can't start from a theme from the theme repository. Like it's nothing starts there.
I actually have several other things I'd call you, but this is a family adjacent show, so.
In this context.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. This context only.
Yeah, I really think that like the onboarding process of themes and what Say mentioned with regard to the way themes are displayed, it's on the front end of like, the theme repo. Man, that could be improved. As far as, people go there, they see the theme, they're like, oh, I want to use this free theme, but how does it really look? You
can only do it by installing and testing. That's it.
That's it. Pretty much.
No, you can't even do it then.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Installing and testing it, you're just going to end up with like blank pages. At that point, I'd rather have the boat.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe like a standard set of data that needs to be, imported into a theme. Like they have the boat, and they have the.
That should be the title of this show, Jason. The boat.
The boat.
We're on
the
a boat.
Is back. The boat never left, actually. Interestingly enough, on WordPress.com, they have started to load with their themes demo content, like basic content based off of what you select. That is not obviously the same as that is the same as GoDaddy and folks like that are also loading demo content, but WordPress.org, the redheaded stepchild of WordPress, is not doing that. And also redheaded stepchild adopted, and probably has some other problems too, because this is not really like.
But even the metadata, even the metadata that's being used for the the filtering on the front page of the site. So, for instance, when I went on there and I looked for, I did a featured filter for accessibility ready and news, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a non-blog.
It seems like a totally fair category structure to look under, like a good filter, right? That seems reasonable.
But I get this many.
Oh,
that's it. That's all of the sites that are accessibility ready.
20 themes, 2010 themes.
Yeah, and they're accessibility ready, and it's set to news, and that's it. And if I go and edit this and say well, actually, I don't want news. I want blog or e-com. Let's do e-commerce. Holiday. That's
food and drink. Bon appetit.
That's a great one. So we'll hit a filter, and then look, there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
Well, the real problem there
Christmas
is
gift.
Cutting down. It's the accessibility one that's cutting it down. Those filters don't work in terms of featured header. I think there's a theme options one still on there now, which I'm like, what does that even mean?
But I think accessibility is more important than the block editor. Like if it's not accessible, then this is forget it. Like we used to talk about mobile first. It's not mobile first. It's accessibility first, and then everything else after that.
The end user is not there. I'm literally having a conversation with a client right now where I'm like, no, we probably shouldn't use the light blue text from your old site on your new site because it's not accessible. Here are the screenshots. You work with a lot of schools. You should probably care about this. And they're like, nobody's complained so far.
Well, because they can't read your website. There's no place to go click on the link that says email this person.
This is the site that you would expect to be super accessible just because of the nature of the site. I'm not saying who or what, but also works with a ton of schools. Like this is a thing, and literally does not care. Like it's like I really like the light blue text. Then I like the way it looks. I was like,
but if this is an important thing, then accessibility ready. If that's not enabled and not actually an accessibility ready site, that crap needs to get off the thing altogether.
Yeah.
Do a filter by accessibility ready and block editor styles.
That will be
nothing.
So there's nothing.
6.
Let's see what I got.
Wow.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least it cuts down your options.
Well, that should be it. This is where we should start, and especially this one right here.
Oh,
this one right here should be.
No, you need 6.
Oh my goodness!
You know what?
Sailing away.
Again,
it's STYX. Sorry.
There's the basic demo, and the demo has the things in the sidebar of that calendar. That's the boat. Calendar.
Where's the boat?
I don't know where the boat is. I think they removed the boat.
Yeah, where's the boat? Oh my god.
No boat.
No boat.
No nothing.
Hashtag no boat.
What is that?
Look at that. Go back there a second. Look at that preview. Is that something that
nice.
anybody's ever going to choose?
What is
but
it
it's
even?
accessible. It's okay.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know.
accessible.
I think we need to set a baseline, and the baseline needs to be if it's accessible or not, and if it's not accessible, then we need to dump it. And all
literally
things that
the
are in there,
entire theme repo except for 6 things.
it should be.
Like,
It should be.
seriously, no wait. If you filter it right now, if you filter just like how many are in just accessibility ready? Like take away the block editor and just do accessibility. What is the number? How many is it? There's some
Pretty good.
but according
So what's the
to
problem?
Natalie McLeese, those have no standard. All they have to do is check that box.
It's just
Like,
checking those as
Yeah.
acceptable.
Wow.
So it's basically the stuff that's been submitted sooner. They're like, sure, this is totally accessible, but like there's not actually some sort of standard implemented there for what is accessible. So
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything.
Wow.
I don't know. I think they need to blow out the whole repo and just start off from scratch and say accessible or not. And if it's not accessible, then dump it and just get rid of all of them.
So the other thing that they're talking about in the theme, the featured theme, the new featured theme thing is to do themes that do not have upsells in them. So it would be a free only, not a freemium theme, which is a whole nother level of something, because everyone who most of the people who put themes in the repo for free, especially if they're going to be remotely supported, are going to be freemium upsellable themes, because how else are they supporting those themes at all? So if you limit that only to themes that are completely free, you are also including zero support, because you're basically baking that needed, or people are bleeding their time.
I have a prediction that if that turns out to be the case, we are going to see a lot of automatic made WordPress.com themes in the featured theme list.
Yeah, that was
And GoDaddy, other big corporations like GoDaddy,
Right.
for example, like their new Go theme, which so they can be supported along with the freeness.
So I
And
looked
it's free
here.
advertising for GoDaddy. So
I looked here and I have I searched for the word more dash details and I have 119 results on here. So we have 119 different themes that are accessibility ready, and that's it.
Out of how many? What's the total? Like 50,000 or something?
Yeah, probably.
What is that percentage?
Wait, Jason, wait, go back. Go back.
Okay. Let me
Dude.
fix it.
All right. Visualize.
Live code
Click,
analysis.
just real quick, click visualize. There you go. And click preview.
Preview.
Where's the theme? Are you in a different
What are you talking about? Are we live coding?
I found the boat. If you preview visualize and scroll down, you'll see the boat.
Yes, the boat still exists.
Yes. Incidentally, that boat, I think we've talked about this before, but that boat is a picture taken by Matt Mullenweg at one of the original WordCamps, I think on the East Coast or something. So that's like a Matt Mullenweg photo.
But we need to nuke the thing and start from scratch. And we've done this over and over again when it comes to operating systems. We've done this over and over again on Windows. We've done this over and over again on the Mac. The latest version of the Mac, if it's not a 64-bit operating system or 64-bit application, then it doesn't work anymore on this. We need to do the same thing on here, and we need to say the baseline is accessibility ready, and if it's not, then we're dumping it, and all that crap that's sitting inside here needs to go away. Only the good stuff like sticks needs to stick around because it's still accessible.
Don't they already hide it if it's not accessible? Like they hide it or what?
No,
no, they don't.
You still got Jane's website sitting on here that you can go take a look at.
That's right.
But what we should do. This is the conversation that the community is constantly having, right? They're like, "What we got a nuke support for PHP 5. Whatever. We've got to do this. We have to do that," and that's not realistic within the community. This is a move that's been having been wanted to be made. I'm not sure what tense I just
that
said.
Was a great sentence. That is the sentence of this episode.
Having been wanted to be made. I really don't know what, but you get it, right? Like what I'm trying to say there, like
it's been brewing.
I speak
it's been brewing for a long
stay.
time, and the theme team is finally getting around to that because again, volunteers and limited time and consensus-based nonsense and whatever, and so people are in there doing this backlog of things that people have ideas for. Tech moves so much faster than the community. And, how are we even like being realistic about it? It is not going to happen that we're just going to blow it up and say, let's start. Like the accessibility team has been advocating for this. Natalie McLeese did her whole talk. Well, not her whole talk, but focused a lot about the accessibility of the themes in the theme repo, let alone the plugins. At her talk at WordCamp Long Beach, which will be up next week on WordPress TV, just by the way, for a little plug there. But, if the accessibility team's been asking for this and people have been talking about it and WordPress agreed to keep the core aligned with accessibility standards, but we still can't get to the point where the theme repo is making those things. Like it's not realistic. And this is part of that underlying community problem that we keep having. And what we really need to do is work on fixing that, because all of these things, plugins, theme repo, core conversations, back supporting, or back upgrading, that whole drama, like all of these things have the same root cause that people were, and the fact that we're even just bleeding business to Shopify and Squarespace. They all have the same root cause, is that our community, which is our greatest strength, the structure is also slowing us down. And, that is a core problem that we continue to face. And that is what everyone keeps talking about. And until we face that and look at fixing that, we're just going to keep eking along with 5-year-old tickets that haven't been addressed, and people being like, oh, maybe we should come up with a new way to do this other than literally hitting random. Like, this is the problem. We're always talking about surface stuff, and we're not talking about the cause. And this is what frustrates me. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're not even going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about it a whole bunch next week at WordCamp US, but I'll probably make myself a pariah because I'm over there.
Well, isn't there like something about community governance that's going on? I really haven't paid attention to that.
Dude, you said the magic word, and if you say it 3 times, say it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh, jeez. We've got people giving up, people trying to make change, people quitting WordPress and giving up because their change is not on the horizon. We've got Casper over here predicting that everything's moving towards big corporations, funded corporation stuff. We've got volunteers who are like, I'm dying, I can't do this anymore. We've got accessibility people who are basically like, can someone please care about other people and the goals that we've said we're going to align to? Like, what is this nightmare? And then our leadership is not necessarily even paying attention to this chaos, and we're all proceeding like everything's totally fine. And it really bothers me.
So, Darius, to answer your question, she has nothing to say regarding the subject matter, but thank you for bringing it up at the very last part of the show. We really appreciate it.
I'm literally red-faced right now. I'm literally
next week, Say quits WordPress. All right.
No, I won't quit WordPress.
Look at the time, Jason.
I'm an idealist and an optimist, and also really effing stubborn. And I believe in all of us, and I believe in the ethos of WordPress. But it's so painful.
That's it, folks. I want to say thank you very much for all you folks for coming on the show and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. We had some people in the chat asking some questions, but we just didn't get enough time to actually get them dropped into the video while we were doing this. I know, it's so weird. You can go over to our website at WPwatercooler.com/subscribe, where you can subscribe to this content and all the other content that happens on here as well. We really appreciate it. And lastly, make sure you go over to serverpress.com and say hello to them. Make sure you let them know that we sent you. And if you leave a support ticket, make sure you say hi to Greg. Talk to y'all later.
Page like serverpress/watercooler.
They have one on there. Yep, they sure do.
Okay, good.
We're on the homepage of their website.
.com.watercooler.
Bye.
Peace out.